Francophone, 2 fois président, passer le pouvoir à un anglophone. Si on était bien au pays, est-ce qu'on allait prendre la route de l'aventure? Ah mais c'est le président. Un pauvre qui vote pour celui qui l'a rendu pauvre. Si on était bien au pays, est-ce qu'on allait prendre la route de l'étranger? Ah mais c'est le président. Au Sénat, il y a un vieux, wonderful. À la présidence, il y a un vieillard. Dans tout le gouvernement, il n'y a que des jeunes prennent le chemin de la Libye pour devenir des esclaves. Les jeunes prennent la route du désert pour entrer à l'aéroport. November 1982, 6 November 2024. Today I have come to exercise my Article 65 rights of the Republic of La République du Cameroon. You have a right to speak your opinion. Nobody can forbid you. That is the Constitution of La République du Cameroon. You have the right to associate with whoever you want to, whichever political party you want to. Nobody have the right to stop you. That is the Constitution of La République du Cameroon. So, ladies and gentlemen, today, I really want to come and talk about comparing a lizard to a crocodile. Most of us in the Cameroons, we are comparing a lizard to a crocodile. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a party political broadcast by myself, Maître Mola Alex Ndive Lisinge, the leader of British Cameroon National Party. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen the election of President, we have seen the election of President Trump in America. Most people are so excited. They are trying to think Cameroon, America. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cameroons is not United States, it's not Europe. The Constitution of the United States of America was drafted by the people of the United States of America. The Constitution of La République du Cameroon was drafted by France and given to some few people, Professor Owona, to do a window dressing exercise. The United States have got its own currency, their money, the dollars. La République du Cameroon, they don't have their own money. The judiciary in the United States of America is independent. The judiciary in the Cameroons is not independent. So today, I want to come and talk about comparing a lizard, La République du Cameroon, with United States, a crocodile. Because people think it's about elections. It's not about elections. It's about laying the foundation of the country by the indigenous people. Unfortunately, the Cameroons, La République du Cameroon was created by France and is still run by France with some poodles, So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my topic of today.
Yes, I'm on a day. I don't show it again. Like yo, Zingaman. Now you want to do this? Not be anything on say. Me too, I go try. Marché central, à Gotowe. Sauveté à Chakala. Wabifo. Mocho. Dis-moi le soir, encore plus de développement. Ok. Mola, Nobida sauf un secteur pour Peter Gota Webane. Moyen de Congola. Répète pour ça, il faut hippodrome dans Bekes. Yes. Jacques Chirac Congola, donc comment corriger pour Filchimatou. D'ici, ma plus pour démonstrer dans mes sous-coups. D'ici, sauveteur de mon sillon. Dans du boum là, ma comprise aime ça, ça. La denda pour beaucoup. Moi, faut damer nos dés. Mbou, faut payer location, c'est nothing. Ngrido me remet en Andjanga de Londres, les champions pour l'Éthiopie. Amman, sauvetage n'a pas l'eau et non qu'elle compression du personnel. Sauvetage n'a pas l'eau et non qu'elle retraite anticipée. For one for sauvetage, they know the Asman diplôme en a 5 ans d'expérience. Pour sauvetage, il n'est pas de concours. Let me accourir français, it don't matter. We don't back ton pour soukou pour ça pour voir quel est. Na pour sauvetage, we defend ou Hongrie. For this earth for austérité, so. Aman, for this earth we send no more to change position. Yes. Postérité d'Abyssé, dans la norme soutien du foot. Où ça ou on espoir de non? Mais à l'idée basée na tam this way any man must them way for one secteur for say we boom la dans crise économique. We don't put all man à genoux. Intégration nationale na wetino. Na say demonstrera pas all the people. Oh na say all we must put hand. Say me we help we on down ground for étudier for bolo. Yes you know. If we get some baccalaureate sound so you go bolo for outside. D'ailleurs, c'est don't party or an enjoyment so that's you don't bother from. So no, a man with the best that's so. We, taxi man. We, la sauveteur de. We, people for two hate. Repenode. Let we help on seeking. Oh, mi Mario. Oh, mi Mario. Dada. Oh, mi Mario.
May the soul of La Piro de Mbanga rest in peace. La Piro de Mbanga used to be one of us. When we used to be in Guakele, we had parliament, we were striking, calling for change in the Cameroon, Boya University, multipartism. We have to work with La Piro. From Yaoundé, we went to Bamenda. And this great man, unfortunately, the CNU rebranded CPD and imprisoned him, and he fell for choking. So La Piro was a very inspirational musician. La Piro said intégration nationale for rafler other people, not be Bogolo. So the people of British Southern Cameroon, Mr. Biatok said they don't try for the integrate them by force. annexation, 42 years in power. As I said before, I'm exercising my Article 65 right of the Constitution of La République du Cameroon. So today, as I said, people are excited. I'm not surprised that President Trump won, because if you notice, I was not really talking about the American presidential election. The reason being, I'm tired of arguing with people, because when you tell them the facts, they don't understand, they don't do their research well. Because I've told people from the background, Trump will win, they say he cannot win. I said, look, you people are doing politics of identity. Oh, he's a black woman. So what? Oh, he's the first woman to become a president if he wins. So what? That's not the reason you vote for somebody, because he's a black woman or woman. That's not the reason. He doesn't pay my bill. He doesn't fit me. That's not the reason people vote for people. Oh, an Anglophone candidate. So what? What do you stand for? What is your manifesto? So, sometimes I don't want to have those type of arguments, because before I say something, I do my due diligence, my research and facts. And it was a fact. I'm not surprised. I saw a lot of people, some of them I know, Harris this, Harris that. I was just laughing because I knew the result. I don't want to argue on social media. And a lot of people are surprised when it was a fact that Donald Trump was going to win. In a democracy, you look at your voters. What do they want? The people of United States of America, the electorate, most of them, they are concerned about migration, immigration, people coming to America. What most of us, some of us, like Africans, we don't understand is that every country have got a right to protect their border. Even any African country or in the European country, when you let in too many people in a country, it affects the educational system. Like in the UK, health is free. It will affect the National Health Service. It will affect social security, because people come here if they are refugee. You give them house, you give them place to stay. If they have children, you have to look for school. So you are not a local person living in that country. I'm not saying people should not come there. Most people in the Western world, including Donald Trump, they say people can come to America, but they should come through the legal means. Somebody like myself, I was born in Boya, in British Cameroon. When I look at Boya now, there are a lot of people. The traffic is not the quiet town that I used to grow in. So sometimes we have that nostalgia that you want that quiet Boya that was free of crime, that was clean water, electricity, Tico Airport. You have to go there. You go to Bamenda, blah, blah, blah. So sometimes I don't blame people. We on earth, the world is not one country. All countries, they have to protect their borders. If in the Cameroons, where I was born, people just come in from Chad, from Nigeria, from Central African Republic, you don't know the people who are getting into the country. It is dangerous. Because why? For security reasons. You don't know who is who. But when people enter a country legally, it is easier to know Mr. A enter, Mr. B is out. That's it. So sometimes we from Africa, especially and other countries, maybe Asia or South America, we say it's racism. It's not racism. Every government have a duty to protect their borders. Their means to go to any country on earth legally. So that's the point that I want to make. So Donald Trump was talking about immigration. Then you talk about the economy too, not about whether you're a black woman or the first woman to be president. What does the first woman to be a president got to do with job? Is he going to give me a job? Is he going to pay my mortgage? Is he going to give me cost of living? Donald Trump was talking about the economy. That's what the people want to listen. That's what they want to hear. So like in the Cameroon, people vote for people for personality cult. Paul Biya, oh, the dance on his picture. Former chairman, this. They don't tell you. Since 1992, Mr. Biya have been president of CNU, rebranded CPDM, for 42 years. No manifesto. They talk about rigor and moralization, New Deal. Today, they are celebrating 42 years of Mr. Biya. I did not see Mr. Biya. Prime Minister, I saw it. Other CPDM militants, civil servants, they left their offices to go and celebrate a political party event. They don't distinguish between civil servants who are supposed to be at work today. They are there cutting cake, drinking champagne from France, drinking alcohol to celebrate 40 years, 42 years of embezzlement, 42 years of corruption, 42 years of corrupt custom, corrupt civil servant, corrupt judges, no road, no hospital. Oh my God. You celebrate something. There was somebody today who was supposed to be in an office or in a hospital, need operation. The doctor, because the doctor was a CPD militant, the doctor was there celebrating and abandoned the hospital. There was somebody who was supposed to look after the pension or other things, the Ministry of Finance, or to take their pension or salary. All those people, they left, abandoned the office, civil servant, to go and celebrate with CPTM. That is the Cameroons we are living in. People who don't care for their citizens. They care where there is food, there is drink, there is cake, they go and eat. But I don't know, has Mr. Biya come out to meet the people who are celebrating? No. This celebration is a means of embezzling taxpayers' money. Because people will have to say, okay, Monsieur le President, we took this money to celebrate in Bamenda. Maybe it's 1 billion. In Southwest, 1 billion. In Sanchez Sud, 1 billion. That's way of embezzlement because it is not necessary. This celebration is not necessary. If they want to celebrate when Mr. Biya's 42 years of chop people their money, they can do it on Saturday, on Sunday, or Sundays, not during working hours. What are they celebrating? They are celebrating chop people their money. I want Mr. Biya to come and sit like myself and say, when I took over this country, the GDP was this, interest rate was this, inflation was this, it has fallen. I want that conversation. I want to hear Mr. Biya saying that this is what I've done for my people. I've created this amount of job. The law of diminishing marginal return is facing us, and this is what I've done. These are the measures I've put on. New Deal. What New Deal? We don't know. Moralization, rigor. What rigor and moralization? Most of you spend your time, you're distributing or talking about this young man, is it in Guinea, talking about the man's sex life. That's the type of things Cameroon they engage in. Football, talking about people's sex life. How does it help their country? I know people, government officers, ministers in Cameroon, they do the same thing in the offices in Cameroon. I don't need to call their names. We know them. If you have a boss in the Cameroons, you're a director, you're a minister, all the ladies you sleep with them. We know that long ago, more than 20, 25 years ago. We know university lecturers. When I was in Guakele, they sleep with girls in their office. So is that new? How does that help us? The things that matter in life, we don't talk about it. We go and talk about what? Football. People's private life. That is a country that they have made us not to think. That is the country that they have made us not to read our constitution. To dive into a lizard and a crocodile. People are so happy to talk about the American presidential election. But we were banned not to talk about our president, Mr. Biya, whom we love so much. Mr. Atangaji said we shouldn't talk about our president. Yesterday I was reading a newspaper in London. They said the Queen of England have cancelled a visit because she is not well. You talk about the Queen. Oh, the Queen is not well. Can I send a card? Get well soon, the Queen. Can I send a flower? Get well soon, the Queen. But in the Cameroons, don't talk about the president. If you don't want people to talk about you, don't hold a public office. Once as you hold a public office, maybe sometimes they say politicians, they have private life. I don't think politicians, they don't have private life because people always want to talk about their leaders. Most important, the elephant in the room. When we talk about American politics, it's not just about election. President Obama once said, democracy is not just about election. They are more into democracy than just election. Even dictators were elected. Hitler was elected. Saddam Hussein was elected. Gaddafi was elected. Aijo was elected 99.9. Mobutu. Election is not about democracy. Election is election. You can have absolute majority, but you're still a dictator. If there are 300 seats in parliament, any country, I have 390 absolute majority, it means I'm a dictator. You see, in America, Donald Trump have won the popular vote and the college. Maybe they have won the Senate and the upper, or whether is it the House of Representatives. It means they have power. They can pass laws that the opposition cannot stop them. So you can be a dictator in a democracy if there's no checks and balances. A lot of people are excited when we in the Cameroons, we don't even have a country because we are still a colony of France. Independence means you have your sovereignty, you have your money, your independent judiciary, your territory is independent. But we are in CEMAC, a French company called CEMAC, that they print our money, that we have the same bank. We don't have our own indigenous bank in the Cameroons, that we use their money, that the Minister of Finance in Cameroon have no job. They sit in France and determine the monetary policy. When there's inflation or whatever, interest rate is determined by France. So France just exchange and put what we call in Europe coconut chalk ice. That's dark outside, white inside. They put them there, they sit there, they're their president, but all the decisions are being made in France. So we don't even have a country. The United States of America was being controlled by United Kingdom. They fought. And United States was created by original 13 colonies. Originally, those were the original United States of America. I can call some of their names. Those 13 colonies, they are still existing. They haven't changed their name like British Cameroon, West Cameroon, that they have changed their name. It is not existing. They have annexed us. So when we want to compare La République du Cameroon with America, we should be careful. We should start by comparing it with English countries in Africa before we cross overseas and come here. You have the colonies that created United States. You have Connecticut, Delaware, Georgia, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. Those colonies are still there. We, in British Cameroon and La République du Cameroon, were also colonies. Today we have La République du Cameroon. We don't know where British Cameroon is. So first, let's not be excited and compare ourselves with America because we are not existing. If you want to compare the Cameroons with America, then we are just a pile upon a fly upon a pile upon a sheet. So we shouldn't do that. I see people try to compare. Let me tell you something. I will say this in quotes. In some sense, try to understand me. If you look at Donald Trump or Biden, the president of the United States, inside the United States, they are not all that powerful to their citizens because you have an independent judiciary, you have the Senate, House of Representatives, congressmen, all those people, they are powerful. The mayors are powerful. The governors are powerful. Donald Trump cannot go and infringe on the function of a governor. A governor is running a state, some of American states, they are bigger than Cameroon. They are like a country. So these are elected officials. A senator will know their functions. A senator can come and speak in his own right in the United States. They can't do that in La République du Cameroon. When Mr. Biya was missing, no one single senator or National Assembly member, because they are not even parliamentarians, came to talk about Mr. Biya's whereabouts. In America, in Britain, other European countries, they will talk about it. Your MP have got a duty to tell you, where is the Prime Minister? I have a right to ask him. But in Cameroon, we cannot do it. So, Mr. Trump, although they say the President of the United States is the most powerful person on earth, it is not true. It is not true. When I was studying constitutional law in England, my constitutional law lecturer said, they say the President of America is the most powerful person on earth. He said, no, it's the British Prime Minister. Why? Because the British Prime Minister, if you have majority in Parliament, you can make any law. You can change all the laws in the world. Even if it was made 1,000 years ago, you can change it. Because they say the Parliament is sovereign. But in the United States, you cannot do that. So that's power in that sense. So I'm bringing you to understand this point about Cameroon. When you look at President Paul Biya of La République du Cameroon, President Paul Biya is more powerful than the President of America in the sense that Mr. Biya can sit and they torture people in his country. They can kill Martinez Zogo. They can kill Wazizi. They can kill Senator Kamande. Mr. Biya can sit, nobody will do him anything. But in America, if you torture people, whether you're a minister, whether you're who, whether you're the richest man, whether you're PBT, you will go to face justice. That's the difference. So Mr. Biya have got that power. Then Mr. Biya can just sit and say they should construct a road in Kikaikilaiki And this without them debate it in parliament. He just sits and decide verbally. But in America, the president cannot do it. But however, when they say the president of America is the most powerful person, we understand in terms of their military might, blah, 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 all over the world. They can go and overthrow Gaddafi. They can go and kill Saddam Hussein. That's the power they are talking about. They are bullies to me. And one point before I go back into our lizard and crocodile, one of the reasons I was praying that the Democrats should not win because they are a party of war. They are warmongers. Look at Libya. We, from Africa, we had Africa, a good flight that used to take us very cheap, take us to Africa, different African countries, to the Cameroons. Sometimes Africa will give a flight promotion for £100 return to the Cameroons and back to UK. When I visited the Cameroons, when President Gaddafi was still alive, we had oil Libya. It was competing now with what? BP, Shell, and all these Western oil companies. But these people, they came, they said, oh, Gaddafi is killing his own people. And they planned, they eliminated Gaddafi. Who was that? President Obama. And some of you sit, oh, he's a black president. President Obama is not a black man. The mother is a Caucasian, as you call it, white lady. A white lady cannot have a child, then you say it's a black man. It's not a black man, it's a mixed race. And it is that Kenyan man who destroyed Gaddafi. So I don't vote people because they are black, they are female, or they are Anglophone. I don't do that. I want to see your policies. Insofar as Donald Trump is going to stop the war in Ukraine between Russia, that is good. That is value. That is human right. That's what I care about. Insofar as Donald Trump will not come and be causing war in Africa, let's be fighting ourselves like the Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton. That is what I look at. If Donald Trump have got his private life and do whatever he's doing, and some people say he's racist, people who are racist, they don't talk. That's the truth. I've seen them in the UK until they are caught pants down. Racist people don't talk. President Trump have got friends from time immemorial, the Donkins. I've got so many people who are friends from time immemorial. Mike Tyson, all those people. There are pictures there. Those type of Muhammad Ali. They have been mingling from time immemorial. But because he says we want to control our border, he's racist. If I'm a president of a country, I will control my border. I will make sure that our cocoa, our diamonds, our timbers, our cash crop remains in Cameroon. So these Western people, they will say, Alex is racist because I want to do something that's beneficiary for our people. It's not racism. It's national interest. It's fighting for your country. I expect African leaders to do the same. I've talked about this comparing lizards and a crocodile. Do we have a constitution in the Cameroons? Because I'll tell you, the Constitution of the United States was made by the indigenous people of the United States. When I mean indigenous, I'm not talking about red Indians. They are the original people. So you know what I'm talking. I'm talking about the 13 colonies. Because one, the people of the Americans, they were colonies. Britain was controlling them. So they were colonies. So after the American War of Independence, the U.S. Constitution was drafted by delegates from a constitutional convention. We have never had a constitutional convention that you bring all the ethnicities to draft it in the Cameroon. France draft the constitution, they give it to a particular tribe, they sit there, they do what they want to do. They don't even put the constitution in the Cameroon for referendum for people to approve it. They never ask your opinion. So that's not a constitution. A constitution must be drafted by all the ethnicities. In America, the constitution was drafted. The people, they choose, it was chosen by state legislature of 12 of the original colonies. Those are the people who drafted that constitution. A legislature of 12 of the original 13 colonies. They sat and they drafted a constitution that reflects the entire United States. When I mean reflect, you know, United States, they have different culture. People from Hawaii, California, they are different. So their constitution, the people of Hawaii, they have their own culture. They drafted it to suit them. The people of California, the people of wherever, they are different. Even if they were Caucasians, all of them, they are different. But in the Cameroons, there is no Cameroonian identity. When I mean, there is nothing that you can say this is something that all of us will have in the Cameroon. It doesn't exist. It doesn't. We are ethnicities. Then we have two colonial heritage, English and French. Two countries came together. That is the identity. But when we say all of us, even in Britain, they don't really have that one identity. The only identity they have in Britain, which is British value, is democracy, rule of law, personal liberty. That's the values. But you cannot say the entire Britain have got the same identity. That's what we are trying to make an illusion in the Cameroons. We talk about national unity. National unity does not mean that all of us, we should stop speaking our indigenous language and start speaking a particular language. That's not national unity. All countries on earth, whether it's in Belgium, they have Flemish people, they have English. In Switzerland, you have French, you have this. In different parts of the world, you have different people. Even the French, they are not the same. So you treat people differently. But in the Cameroons, national unity, unite what? We should identify the thing that we want to unite in the Cameroon. I don't know. If somebody knows, come and tell me. In the Cameroons, they say there is democracy. In America, in order to stand as a presidential candidate, you just need to be born naturally. You were born in America. You have to be 35 or above, and you have to be a resident there. That's all. But in the Cameroons, after the 1992 election, the CPDM said, oh, we have to tighten these things so that nobody can stand. It's only us CPDM and some fake opposition should stand. They tighten it. Or you have to have 300 signatures from elites from all the regions. You have to have parliamentarians to sign before you stand as a presidential candidate. Why? Why should a parliamentarian stand? If I'm popular in Cameroon, if I have 10 million people want me to stand, why should I go to parliamentarians or senators who are unpopular? The population in all the regions are not the same. Some populations in the regions are 3 times as much as others. So how can you say you should have 300 signatures from these people to block people not to stand, to stop intelligent people not to stand? Most members of parliament, they are not even elected. They just put one person, a popular person on the list. Then they take a lot of dull people, they put them, the people that you don't know them. In Western world, you vote for individuals, not list system. You vote for Meta Alexis, you vote for Obama, you vote for Tony Blair. But in the Cameroons, you don't vote. They just put a list. One person who is popular, then they put dull people there, then they win. People that you don't even know, people who cannot spell their name, they become parliamentarian. So if I want to stand as a presidential candidate, I have to go and see them. For what? In the Cameroons, we stand and sit opposition, government militants, officials or so, you sit in the Cameroons and compare yourself to United States. But none of you in the Cameroons can come and stand and challenge Maitre Alex Lissinger. Let's have that political debate. They have primaries, caucuses in America. You have to stand. You talk on policy, about economic, about health. You debate with other candidates. But in Cameroons, all the people want to stand for presidential election. If Maitre Alex Lissinger, I'm inviting all of you, come, let's have that presidential debate. None of them, they cannot. They cannot. They are scared. Because the only time you can know who is the right candidate to stand for president is when you scrutinize them and hold them into account. Maitre Alex Lissinger, what is your policy on education? I will talk. People ask questions. What is your policy on immigration, on health, on France CFA, on French Cooperation Agreement? But they are scared. Have you ever had one single so-called candidate, presidential candidate in the Cameroon? Have you ever heard them come and say, oh, let's have that debate. What are we going to do with France CFA? How can we stop France from controlling our interest rate, our monetary policy? None of them, but they want to be president. You want to be president to be what? I'm telling you, if I am a president of a country in Africa, Francophonie, I will stop France CFA. I will stop France from making our monetary policy. I will make sure that the Anglophones, they are using English institution in their own part of the countries. And French institution like ENAM, ENS, military tribunal, gendarmerie, or whatnot, in French part of the country. Let one single opposition political party come, let's have that debate. Let's have that social contract. Let's sign it legally that this is what we are going to do if whoever wins. Let the opposition, if you are genuine, if you are not there for yourself alone, come, let's have that debate and sign that contract. You don't need to wait to draft a pre-constitutional draft. I can sit here and make a constitutional draft about what I will change if I come to power. It's just a draft. Other people will come in and I stand for election and I pledge to the people as a social contract. This is how our constitution will be. There will be one country called La République de Cameroon using their institution, British Cameroon using their institution as originally as we were. I'm not talking about federalism. I'm not interested in federalism because when you bring federalism, people don't know what is federalism. They will say 10-state federalism, 2-state federalism, 20-state. Federalism is not about state. It's about ethnicity, inherited culture. That's how you deal with federalism. People's culture. These people, they have Anglophone culture, institution. That's how you look at the constitution. These people, they have French culture. That's how you look at it. Then you look at the 250 ethnicity. Then we say, okay, we are going to give decentralization to all this ethnicity because they have different customs and tradition. Then the main one, we have a parliament in British Cameroon and a parliament in French Cameroon. Maybe we have a ceremonial president and we have prime minister in this side. That is the best way to run the Cameroons. We must recognize the two countries. It will never work if we don't recognize the two countries. Unelected governors, they must be in French Cameroon. You see, Nigeria have our culture. We elect governors in Nigeria. We have English legal system, the educational system in Nigeria. If you look at northern Cameroons that join Nigeria, they are more developed than northwest and southwest region. They have seaport. They have motorway, international airport. Better off, you see their own. Look at Calabar, Taraba State, Maiduguri. They were part of Cameroons. What do we have in northwest and southwest? Nothing. The Biya regime, under the auspices of France, they are just sucking our blood. Sucking our blood. Mr. Biya, When you were president of Cameroon, when you were first, I don't know whether you were elected in 92, that's when I left primary school. Some of us, we thought we were going to be the one to be running that country. When I was in nursery school, Boya Station, they were calling us future leaders of tomorrow. When I was in St. Pius School, Boya Station, future leaders of tomorrow. When we were in Lycée Moliko, we used to wear this CNU. They used to force it on us, this Aijo CNU, when I just went there before Aijo left. We used to march, the future leader, with my classmate. We are still future leaders. After how many years, Mr. Bia? 42 years. We are future leaders. And you guys are present leaders. So it is high time. Sitting here talking about Article 65, my constitutional right. I see people, they threaten me. Oh, why am I saying what I'm saying? Listen. We must learn to accept others' opinion in the Cameroons. That's democracy. If I want to talk about social life, family life, I'll meet you private, we talk about it. When I'm talking, my politics is to scrutinize and hold the government to account. That is politics. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, we shouldn't compare. Nobody should fool you when it comes to America. Nobody should tell you that we are equal to America. Democracy in Cameroon can be the same. Nobody should fool you, because it is very you have to understand, we don't have the constitution, we don't have the foundation to have a similar election in the Cameroon. There's only one party that was created to rule forever in accordance with the constitution of the Cameroon, and that is CNU, rebranded CPPM. So, ladies and gentlemen, if we keep on comparing a lizard to a crocodile, then I'm sure we are just dreaming. We have a long way to be the level that the United States, Britain, they are. And the only way we can do that, we should forget about 2025 and call a constituent assembly where all the ethnicities that will be present, legal advisor, constitutional expert, and all the people of the two countries that came together, British Cameroon and La République du Cameroon. Regardless of your political opinion, your ethnicity, we should be represented at the grassroots level. We should start by drafting a new constitution. Then election can follow later on. If you have this constitution that we have today, which was tailored to favor only one person, the president of the republic, he controls election, he controls civil servant, he's the head of the judiciary, head of the executive, legislative body, head of football, head of military, head of everything. One person cannot be head of anything. A mayor should have power. A mayor should be elected directly by the people. Same with senators, same with parliamentarians. Because no one person can sit in a today and understand the nooks and crannies of the Cameroons. So, ladies and gentlemen, the last bit I would like to talk again, we compare America and Western world with the Cameroons. In the Western world, president, prime ministers are politicians. In the Cameroons, politicians are civil servants. Mr. Bia was a civil servant. He had a matricu. Aijo was a civil servant. Diongute, my lecturer, was lecturer in university, a civil servant. Nearly all of them, they are civil servants. So we need politicians like myself to come and stand and start running the country. Civil servants, they must be impartial. They cannot mix politics and their work. Politicians come and go, and civil servants, they remain. So, but in the Cameroons, we don't distinguish between a civil servant and politicians. Enam, people who go to Enam, who are they? They are civil servants, civil administrators. Magistrates who go to Enam, civil servants. People who go to ENS, civil servants. So we should distinguish that civil servant and politicians. And we are hoping to start having the first breath of politicians in the Cameroons. We hope this should happen very soon. And civil servants like Mr. Biya, Prime Minister Diongute, and the rest, they should go to the classroom and allow politicians to stand for election. And again, we expect that most people, before they become ministers, they should be elected. Before Biden became what, Obama, Bill Clinton, those people were either governors, senators, they elect them. But the people who are ministers in Cameroon, nobody have ever elected them in their life. They just appoint them. That's where we have incompetence. Imagine I'm a lecturer in a university in Cameroon, lecturing law. They just appoint me a minister or prime minister. How would I run that ministry when I don't even have a clue how to run a ministry? That's a problem in the Cameroons. But unfortunately, ministers in Cameroons are window dressing exercise. They just put you there. Then they appoint, how do they call it, and these technical advisors there. Most things is done in a 2D. Ministers in Cameroon, they are window dressing exercise, if you don't know. That's why they say, oh, they have given Anglophone a minister of territorial administration. I said, how can you give Anglophone a minister of territorial administration? The minister of territorial administration is for the entire Cameroon. It's not for Anglophones. Oh, they have given a Bakwe woman. You appoint people based on tribe. No. Allow people to elect their local people. Those local people will start as mayor, parliamentarian, maybe one day ministers. That's how it works in most democracies. Not in Cameroon. That most people will become ministers and powerful. They have never been elected in their life. People want to go and be president of a country. They have never been elected in their life. What a country. Look at all the Obamas. He was a senator. Bill Clinton, he was a governor. Tony Blair, he was a parliamentarian. Some of them mayor. Even Ivory Coast, the former prime minister was, of late, he was a mayor somewhere in Ivory Coast. He was elected before. But in Cameroon, people who can never, ever be elected in a constituency, they want to be president. If you want to be president, you must start election at the grassroots and be climbing. That's how you do in a democracy. Let the people choose you. Before you become a minister, people will know that you were elected by your people before, either as a mayor, a parliamentarian, or a governor. We should abolish in British Cameroon these are unelected governors and you. Administrators cannot be governors. Governors are politicians. That is what is important. So, ladies and gentlemen, we must know this 100%. And if we don't do this, we start from the foundation, because as I understand in the Cameroons, anything that people want to do, they always start from, in the Cameroons, they start from the roof instead from the foundation. If you want to build a house, you must start from the foundation. So we are still in a very, very long way to near America. Not to talk of, we cannot even compete with Nigeria. We cannot even compete with Kenya. We cannot even compete with Zambia, Malawi, all those African English countries. They are better off than us. We cannot compete with all those countries. So until we solve this problem, nothing will ever happen. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very important that we understand that we have to start with the foundation. People cannot stay in power forever. When you look at most people, like some of these, my people, my friends, late Pa Chidachu. When I was a baby, he was already Minister of Justice in Cameroon. Young Philemon was already a minister when I was a baby. Kavaye, is it Jibri? Nyat Jifenji, all the people who are running Cameroon, I was a baby when they had that top position. And again, people like Mr. Biya, Pa Muna, Pa Foncha, and a host of others, when they had those top positions, their age range was between 28 and 33. So today, we cannot come and be talking about people who are above 70, they want to be president in Cameroon. We cannot be talking. It's Cameroon, we are not America. Take note, in America, the president, or in Britain, your powers are limited. Your powers are limited. We are in problem today in the Cameroons because when the Aijo, the Bias, they were doing all those things. These people who were approximately 70 years old, they sat quiet, they were doing nothing. Our time, this is our time, this is our moment. We are the ones who have been fighting for more than 30 years. If the people who were averagely 70 years, they were fighting. I know some of them, they were fighting, like Fongodi Dinka, Abel Mukon, a host of others, they were fighting. But the majority were benefiting from this CNU rebranded CPDM. That's why we are where we are. How come that the Americans, they had their constitution, Britain, how many years ago, hundreds of years, they can reform it, but it's still working. How come that our constitution was wiped out? Wiped out. Change the federal system. All these people who are approximately 70 years or so, they were there, they watched it. And the reason they were quiet is because they were benefiting from the system. Because if they were suffering like us, they would have been activists, protests. But they did not, because the system was good. It was milk and honey. It's just like most corrupt judges today, corrupt police officers, gendarmes, bees, who torture people today. Most of them, they are benefiting in that system. That's why they are quiet today. Most of them are quiet because they are benefiting from the system. And if we, the people of the Cameroons, it's up to us the people, to stop it. And I am saying this, I don't understand some of the people who are running the Cameroons, they don't read the law. I'm talking on this platform based on Article 65 of the Constitution of La République du Cameroon, which says the preamble is part and parcel of the Constitution. So what I'm doing, everything I'm doing is constitutional. So don't sit there one day and say, Maitre Alex is criticizing the government. It is constitutional. I speak as the leader of British Cameroon National Party. I'm scrutinizing and holding the government to account. You are using taxpayers' money. Why are you not building a hospital? Why don't we have roads? Why is it that our people are suffering no light, no electricity, no pipe-borne water? That is what opposition political parties do in accordance to Article 65 of the Constitution of La République du Cameroon. So, ladies and gentlemen, this have been a party political and I wish
les attraper.